Hello and welcome to Too Fast, Too Forever. There's all kinds of family. We chose this one. This is episode 283, Life in the Fast Lane, number 8. I'm Joey Lewandowski.
I'm Joe, too.
And we are here for the Too Fast, Too Furious Minute 83. We will title the episode. You'll see that sweet, sweet title and that sweet, sweet art when we get around to it at the end of the episode. But Joe, first up, we don't do extracurricular activities first. God damn,
What do we do first?
We do Patreon and mailbag and store and reviews and everything like that. Actually, let me check. I have not checked in a couple of weeks. I'm assuming
reviews, yeah.
we will have no new reviews, but we're going to find out. If you have not reviewed our show, please go to Apple Podcasts and leave us a 5-star review over there. And you can say whatever you want, but please leave it 5 stars. We ran a roll for a while, and then we just haven't, we haven't got new reviews.
Yeah, it happens.
The last one was Lane Middleton a year ago, so no. So go over there, please, and thank you. We also have a store over on TeePublic, and we have an email address, family@cageclub.me. Joe, we got some emails to read tonight.
Oh, cool.
So if you want to support us, leave a review.
Milo's yelling up the stairs. I don't know if you can hear
Sometimes I can hear him, sometimes I can't. I can't right now.
He's just screaming because we just started recording, so.
If you want to support us, leave a review. If you want to contribute, send in an email, family@cageclub.me. If you really want to support us, Patreon. We'll get to the Patreon in a second. But okay, so first up, emails. That's starred because it is the tickets that we bought for Fast X. Fast X tickets on sale now if you want to go get those.
Oh, fancy.
We sold this is the best. We sold on Valentine's Day a George Pickens t-shirt. Out of season, people aren't buying these anymore, but somebody on Valentine's Day treated themselves or a loved one to a George Pickens t-shirt, so shout out to that person.
Yeah, imagine that somebody was sitting there like, oh my god, I forgot to get my wife something for Valentine's Day, so I'll get her this George Pickens watching Fast and the Furious t-shirt.
I think nothing says love like our dumb t-shirts that don't really make sense.
I was thinking about it the other day. I was like, dude, the draft is coming up soon. Like, I can come up with another really stupid Steelers draft pick t-shirt idea really soon.
I mean, we're not a Steelers show, though. Like, I understand.
I know. Hey, what's the most sold t-shirt we've ever had?
I get it. I'm not arguing it, but I'm just saying we don't need Steelers. If there's any kind of t-shirt like that, we could put it out there. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but my brain's one-track mind, dude.
I know. But the idea is that it's something that you wanted to wear.
Yes, you literally made the t-shirt for me, and then sold more of them than
like
any other t-shirt combined.
Very dumb. Very dumb. But if you think of another thing that you want to wear,
that's what I'm saying. That was my thing. Like, not like I'm making like Steelers fan merch. I was thinking like, oh, there's probably going to be a dumb t-shirt that I will want out of this draft.
Like, remember in that one COVID draft where Roger Goodell drafted from his basement and it was the one time that people have ever liked him? Like, if there was a TV in the background, we could have thrown Fast and Furious on there. You know what I mean?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Yes, exactly. Those are we're on the same wavelength. It just came out like a Steelers stupid thing, because that's what I'll be paying the most attention to.
Right. That's all you talk about. Steelers stupid things.
Exactly.
We got a YouTube comment from the account Meat Lovers. Shout out to Meat Lovers.
Is this a Brian Burner account again?
No, I don't think so.
Is he parked on Meat Lovers at YouTube.com?
8 Diagram Pole Fighter. Meat Lovers just says, how watch this movie?
Well, you have to find it, a stream of it. Or buy the DVD. That's what you got to do.
I don't think he's listening to this, but in case he is, there you go.
Yeah, I gave the answer is buy it.
Buy it, yeah. You can find it. Just buy it.
Sorry for the help.
And you're welcome, Meat Lovers.
Yeah.
Okay, so this one is not for this podcast, but it's for another podcast you do. And so here I talk to relevant, interested parties here.
Okay.
We're going to email to magicmikes@cageclub.me. Subject line, Magic Mike, The Last Dance. From Nora Macaulay. Nora says, just discovered this funny podcast. Hope you'll find the time to address this new entry in the Tatum oeuvre. So, that's it. So, shout out to Nora, who's not listening to this because I don't think she knows that. Well, no, she knows this exists, because we won't shut the fuck up about it on
over
Magic
there
Mike's.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, we always are pitching too fast over there, but nobody seems to care.
So I think what we should do, what Haley started, I don't know if Haley's going to continue. I think we need to do 3 or 4 of these a year. We can do, and not on any real schedule. And I think what we can do is what we did for this. We could do it as like a bonus episode if we want with Brian, because I asked Brian, because we talked about on the Dear John, having Brian back on every episode. I don't know if we want Brian on every Magic Mike's, but it's fun to have him there. And if we're doing a bonus episode, we might as well tack on some Too Fast nonsense at the top, give the patrons over at toofast2forever.com a little bit more bang for their buck, even though it has nothing to do with the show. What do you think about that? Continuing very, very slowly the Magic Mike's thing?
But behind our patron paywall?
Well, but then also put it on the Magic Mike's without the intro thing. Like, remember for Dear John, we did like half an hour with Brian, and then we did like an hour that we put out for the feed.
Okay.
Do you know how we did that, or you have no idea how we did that?
I don't remember at all.
We did like a 90-minute episode, or maybe 2 hours, because it was Brian, and we never stopped talking with Brian.
Yes.
And we did a little bit of an intro thing at the top that was just like Too Fast, Too Forever themed, whatever.
Oh, this
talked
was
about
kind of
whatever
recent.
nonsense. Yeah, like 2 months ago or whatever. Whenever we did Dear John. And then I took the back half of that, which was basically just a Magic Mike's episode, threw it on that feed. So I'm thinking, Nora, not listening to this, maybe she's listening to this. Nora, it's the same show.
It's literally the same. I know we said it over there.
We slowly work our way through that.
That's fine by me. Yeah, I'm down.
I mean, we're not going to get to Magic Mike's Last Dance for a long time, but we'll get to the first Magic Mike in, 8 episodes, which is like...
That's a lot, dude.
2 or 3 years out?
Why don't you just, like, skip ahead and we just do the Magic Mikes as, like...
Well, because the thing is, like, why I was bummed that we stopped Magic Mike's was because these next, like, 4 movies are the only Channing movies I haven't seen.
Oh, so you do want to... Okay, but...
And then I don't want to skip ahead because there are, like, almost every single one of his movies is a movie that I love.
Okay.
And also, no one listens to this podcast. It is by far the least popular thing you and I have ever done.
Also true. That's why I'm saying, like, why don't we just hit the highlight reel, dude? And
Well,
do
because
him as
his entire career is a highlight reel.
Okay.
Okay, because look, okay,
that's a take. That is a.
So we got here's 4 in a row that I don't know: The Son of No One, The Dilemma, The Eagle, 10 Years, whatever. I don't know.
Okay.
Haywire, banger, Soderbergh movie. The Vow, I think that's a Rachel McAdams movie. I don't know if I've seen that one either. But Jump Street, Magic Mike, Don John, Side Effects, G.I. Joe, whatever. This Is the End, White House Down, Lego Movie, Foxcatcher, 22 Jump Street, Book of Life, Jupiter's Ending, Magic Mike, Hateful Eight, Hail Caesar, Lego Batman, Logan Lucky, Kingsman 2. Those are all either fun performances or great movies. Like, I don't want to skip any of those.
I was saying you could pick, like, it doesn't need to go chronologically. I know for you, yes.
Well, no, because I don't think.
But I'm saying, like, you. Could
I don't think
like,
we're going to find people. I mean, like, if we had done a Magic Mike's Last Dance episode 3 weeks ago, I think that could happen. But like now, who knows? Who cares?
Matter.
Right.
Yeah. No, but I was saying, like, we could do, like, Magic Mike's 1, and then do, like, Haywire, and then do, like, Magic Mike's 2, and then do, like, something that's not Logan Lucky. Like, This Is the End. Or, you know what I mean? Or, like, one that you haven't seen yet, and then do, like, the new Magic Mike's, because it'll probably be on, like, VOD by then, definitely be on VOD by then.
Well, it's already on VOD now.
Okay, so yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, like, any of these options, you know what I mean? Like we could do it in an order that doesn't necessarily make sense, but we could accomplish it with cutting them in a way that
Who are you talking to? How does my brain work? I don't like that at all. Not even a little bit.
I know you don't. Okay.
We'll figure it out. It's going to be very slow. It's going to be, when we pumped the brakes on that, it was going to be every 3 months. So kind of every 3 months or just like whenever. Who gives a shit? Like Mike and I do an Elvis podcast whenever another thing comes out, and like people love that show. Like I hate the release structure. Like if I was listening to it, I'd be like, what the fuck is going on? But like people love that. So I think it's just like whenever, just throw it out there.
That works for me. I am down. I was trying to give you more options, so it wasn't like we have a run of 4 movies that you haven't seen that could possibly be very bad.
Oh no,
sour it.
No, because I think I'm never gonna sour on Channing. Channing's the guy.
Okay. Cool.
Plus, I know like everything down the road is going to be good, so we'll get there.
Okay.
Get there when we get there. Okay. 2 emails from Nick Burris.
What's up, Nick? How you doing, bud?
So it starts off a little bit heavy. He says, dealing with some bullshit, divorce, etc. So, Nick, if this is a
Oh,
tough time, it's going to get better. Hang in
you
there.
got family here, bud.
He's been messaging me too on Instagram, messaging us on Instagram about themes and picks and laps and words he missed. So I'm like, you didn't miss anything. Like, you're all good. So we're still good. We're gonna get to his pick a little bit later this lap, and he's gonna
Awesome.
send in the next one. So we're all good there. He says, plus I'm on a horror podcast kick. Well, that's very exciting.
Ooh, that sounds very Joey-ish.
He says, Fast X is approaching fast, so I'm going to get my ass in gear and cruise through them all. I'm still working on it, but at least I'm on the same lap now. So you're not that far behind. If you're on lap 12, you're not that far behind. There's not that many this lap.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. And like, hey, I'm sure you've noticed they're a little bit shorter than they were for a while.
For by design. He says, by the way, talking about who gets the fucking too fast, Roman actually mouths it under his breath at the demolition derby when he sees Brian. I don't know if you ever caught that.
No, I don't think I saw that. And we even did it minute by minute. Yep.
I know. More to follow. Nick out. And then he sends another quick follow up. He just says, Triple X2. It was cool to see the concept AC Ford Cobra in it.
Yes, it was cool. Yes, it was.
So shout out to Nick. Nick, thank you for writing in. Thank you for still listening. If you have not written in a while, like I'm looking at you, Wells. Wells, if you're still out there and you're still listening, which I don't imagine you are because I think you're too cool for us, but maybe you are. I don't know. Send in a note. family@cageclub.me or
Hey,
anybody.
just check in.
Yeah.
Just check in just to say hi. Like we've said this before, man. Like, like you don't even need to say anything serious. We don't even need to read it. Just be like, hey, thought of you guys at
Yeah.
some point.
We got an email from Jason Rainey that says, not for the podcast, Truck Rascals 5. So that's a little bit of a misleading title. It's a very, very long email. I told Wes that his title of World's Longest Email, World's Longest Runway, now goes to Jason. But I read through this entire thing. I'm going to forward you this email to read later. But I highlighted some stuff. So Jason's patron pick. If you're not a patron over at toofast2forever.com, you missed us talking about Truck Rascals 5, Ichiban Boshi the Brave, Truck Star of Guts, right? Joe's
Yeah,
preferred title.
Truckster of Guts.
It's Truck Star, not Truckster. Truck Star of Guts.
Oh well, that's actually kind of lamer.
That's somewhere in this email. I don't remember. But I read through this entire email. I highlighted it because I knew that we didn't have a ton of emails for today. We had a handful of emails, but I wanted to read this. So he says, hey, Joey and Joe, I hope you don't mind a long-winded email, but after listening to your episode on Truck Rascals, I had a lot of thoughts. So if you're not a patron, go join the Patreon because it's a very fun movie, very fun episode.
Oh, dude, it was awesome. And I'm sure Joey sent me a tiny snippet of the emails beforehand, and you'll hear part of it. Yeah.
Except not the things that I've sent you because I've sent you things that I'm not reading. But, you know.
Okay, cool.
It was interesting to hear the movie described from your points of view as you both went in blind. Most folks I know who I've talked to or heard about this movie from were already familiar with the series. Even I'd heard a lot about the series before finally seeing them, so I was cool to hear about it from a fresh perspective. You touched on it, but I think these films capture a similar found family and vulnerable masculinity vibe that the Fast and Furious films have. In every Truck Rascals I've seen, I get emotional at the end when the trucker community bands together to help Momo make his big impossible run. Sonny Chiba telling Momo the, quote, roads are his after blocking the cops, so good.
Yep.
It's an element I'd love to see more of in the Fast and Furious, though I imagine it's tough with their already stacked cast. The closest I can think of is all the street racers coming out of the warehouse to help Brian and Roman get away in Too Fast, which we're going to get to very soon.
Close. Yeah.
Seeing some of the characters from Rio returning in Fast X, maybe we'll get some of the racing scene helping the family against Dante? Question mark? Maybe. Randomly thinking about elements from Truck Rascals to be fun to see in the Fast and Furious, what if they had personal slogans artfully displayed on their cars? Imagine Dom's Charger having, quote, no friends but family on the side. I don't know. I was always a fan of the more colorful paint jobs of the early films.
I agree. And I was actually thinking when we were watching this, Jason, that I wanted actually just the trucks, like the goofy Japanese.
The Decatura?
Sorry, I couldn't think of the word.
I don't know if that's the right word, but it's close enough. The decorated trucks.
Yeah, the decorated trucks. Like, I wanted those in the Fast and Furious. I was like, like, we got the, like, drift scene. We got, like, the underground street racing. You got, like, supercars, hypercars now. Like, why not have goofy truck time as, like, one of, like, like, I think it would have fit, like, definitely in Tokyo Drift 1. But, like, you bring back Earl, and Earl could have had, like, one of these goofy trucks in 9, right?
Yeah.
like just like on the side, and you'd have been like, "What the fuck is that?" You know, like I don't even think they really need to explain it, but it would just been like a cool thing to have. So I've thought this too. Yes, bud.
He goes on, by the way, I love the Joe Dive Bar stamp of approval. Yeah.
I'm glad. I man, that's like that is my top echelon of like I want this to run in the background on a screen of my dive bar so that people come in and go, "What the fuck are you watching?" And I'm like, "Obviously, it's Truck Rascals 5."
What are you, an idiot?
Yeah, like, "What are you, an idiot?" And they're like, "Is this the taqueria?" And I'm like, "Yes." And they're like, "Okay, we would like a food menu." And be like, "We don't serve food here."
We got blankets and spaghetti.
Wait,
Do you know from Mitch Hedberg? He's just like, I want to be a price of participation may vary. I want to be a McDonald's owner, a stubborn McDonald's owner that doesn't participate
yes,
in shit. We got blankets and spaghetti.
yeah,
Or spaghetti and blankets, yeah.
yeah, yes. But I told you my other part of that, which is like I want to call it something weird, so that people come in and I'm just like, no, we just have booze and chips on the wall. That's
Yeah,
it. Okay.
yeah. I think we must have talked about that recently because I feel like that's in my brain
Okay.
from recently. Anyway, okay. As for why I picked the fifth movie, mainly because it starred Sonny Chiba, so I figured it was an easy, fast connection. The first movie establishes the setting better, but like you said, they're all standalone. Sadly, Sonny Chiba doesn't return for any of the other movies. If there's any regulars, it's Momo and Jonathan, his family, and the truck stop crowd. Tone-wise, they're all similarly wild. From what I've heard, the early ones are silly, but more gritty B-movies, while after this one, they lean into the more cartoony elements. I haven't seen it yet, but the sixth one apparently parodies Lone Wolf and Cub by having the main actor from that playing a trucker who rides with his baby boy. That
Oh
sounds
my
cool.
god. Okay, so Sold, that's the next one I want to watch then. Duh. Okay.
He says, regarding Dude exclamation on Letterboxd, who is the guy that we did the game for, I don't know him personally, but we follow each other on Letterboxd and Twitter. He used to co-host a Japanese film podcast, which is what I guessed.
Oh, cool.
They've covered a couple of Truck Rascals movies on their podcast and provide some historical context if you are interested. So if you want to go check out this podcast, Toho Yaro, Tohoyaro. Like Toho is like the Japanese studio, I think, and Yaro is guys, right? Like Truck Rascals, Truck Yaro, right? So
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Yep.
I'm not sure, Jason writes, who the intended audience would be for these, but I assume it was similar to the audiences for 70s Grindhouse Similar. They're pretty similar, but sillier to other Japanese action films from the 70s. Maybe it's skewed younger because some of the more cartoony or ridiculous humor, but comedy in Japanese movies seems to be more on the absurd side. It's hard to say since I don't know firsthand about the culture. I enjoyed the breakdown of the old movie rating system you guys did. I don't know if they vary wildly from country to country, but I dig hearing random details like that.
Oh, well, I'm glad my weird brain forced Joey to look it up for me. I appreciate that.
This guy's banging a chick. What's this movie rated? PG? Oh yeah, probably. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Well, there was there was no penetration, so that's why, yeah.
He also explains that in the thing that I'm not reading about what that soap house is or whatever, right? So,
Yeah,
which you
yeah.
apparently knew about but didn't mention on air. So,
No, so, yeah, never mind.
I'm just going to let that go. Finally, I just thought I'd mention something about Blu-ray regions. There are fewer regions for Blu-rays than DVDs, A, B, and C, and Japan and the US actually use the same region. It's great for people like me who want physical copies, but not always, as they don't always have English subtitles. These movies weren't made for non-Japanese audiences, so there's not always an incentive to cater to them. Anyway, 4K discs, like you said, are region-free, and hopefully if physical media survives streaming, it'll help preserve and make the availability of lesser-known foreign films in the States better. If you got to the end, cool. Hopefully there was something interesting among all the jabber. Again, glad you liked the film. Looking forward to the rest of the Lap and Beyond. Cheers. Hope you're well, Jason. Well, thank you, Jason.
Thank you, Jason. And like I said, excellent pick. In a small part that Joey cut out, I mentioned that I had to share, like, I was pitching these to my coworker. I asked him today before we recorded if he watched any of the Truck Rascals, and he said he watched the first one.
Wait, no, I didn't cut that out of that podcast. That was still in there.
No, I mean here. You know what I mean?
Oh.
Like, and like I was talking about the email, whatever. So I asked him today, like, did you watch any of the Truck Rascals movies? And he said, yes, he watched the first one, and he said, it's very horny. And he said he had seen a bunch of movies from that studio around the same time period.
Mm-hmm.
He was very interested by it and will continue to watch them. So thanks for sharing, and I passed along the good word for you, bud.
Cool.
We got more Truck Rascals fans in the making.
Preaching another Yarrow in the mix.
Exactly.
And then, Joe, our final email is something you know about new. Okay, and this is history has been made, Joe, on the podcast. History has been made. Something
I know, but
we
I
never
do
thought was
know.
going to happen.
Never thought was gonna happen. Go ahead.
New $30 patron, meet Joshua Buckley. So Josh Buckley and Michael Moser have teamed up.
Our friends from Whole Lot of Wolves and just Michael Moser, our fan and friend.
Our number one Uber driver tormenting his passengers with our podcast, and now apparently Brian's podcast as well.
Yeah, apparently.
They teamed up for the $30 a month tier, and they are going to program not the next lap, but the lap after that. So lap 14, which I think we figured out starts in January. So they've already picked all the movies. Great picks. So we'll reveal that theme on the next patron episode if you want to get those patron picks in. But they will be on the tune-ups before and after the lap to talk about their theme and the movies they picked and so on and so forth. Yeah, we
Go ahead. You're good.
I still don't know why anybody would do this because it's a lot of money, but they did it. I mean, it's smart to do it together, right? So
It's greatly appreciated. We never thought it would happen. They gave us a lineup of movies already, and it's a lot of fun ones, man. I'm really stoked to talk about a bunch of these. So, yeah, it'll be a good time.
yeah.
And Michael gets to catch up on all the Patreon episodes now, and just down the line, I was floored. It was awesome.
Yeah, so they also get T-shirts from the store over on TeePublic, so we have to figure that out and send those to them. They get a handwritten note. But again, if you're out there and you're like, I'm not a patron, I want to pick things to watch for you guys to watch, toofast2forever.com. I'll send you a handwritten note in the email. You know what you should
go do, Joey?
What?
Because we hit like tier 1, version 1, you should crank that. You should double it.
Well, I was going to raise the Herman Reyes, and I was going to raise that too, but I don't know if we I thought about it. I might add another one.
But you know what I mean? Like, that was like round 1.
Yeah.
And then like round 2 will be like, if you really want to, we'll do it. But it'll be more. It'll be double. And then it'll be like round 3. You know what I mean? They'll just keep, like, you get like a first-timers discount, essentially.
The other thing is, and I don't think that they're going to, but like if they keep doing the $30 a month, like, do they just get another lap? I mean, I guess at some point, right? But I don't know.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's why it has to be like round 1. And then like round 2, so it becomes like exponentially terrible to do.
Yeah. But shout out to them. So that's why I also saved it.
You guys.
So
Thank
shout
you,
out to our patrons, Cassie Wilson, Ben Milliman, Nick Burris, Alex Ellen, and Justin Kleiman, Brian Rodriguez of High School Slumber Party. Wes Hampton, Jerry Robinson, Dan the Duke, Hayden, Renato D. Donato, Michael McGann, Lane Middleton, Lindsay Lewandowski, Nate Milton of the Kings of Sport, Jason Rainey, Tom Price, Mike Gallier, Josh Buckley, Michael Moser, and Jessica Collins, a.k.a. Montez. Thank you all.
You have to throw in Josh of Whole Lot of Wolves. You have to do his little...
Oh, yes, I do. Josh,
you know what I
Josh
mean?
Buckley of Whole Lot of Wolves.
Yes.
Michael Moser and Jessica Collins, a.k.a. Montez. Thank you all for supporting us at the $5 a month level or above. And if you, again, want to join, get your name right on every episode, toofast2forever.com. Joe, on the streets, news about the Fast and Furious. So 2 things, TV shows we have to figure out how we're going to cover. Young Rock is done. Young Rock season finale aired last week.
Just no promo. Again.
No promo. So did you watch... How much of the XFL did you watch, and will it survive this season?
So I saw a stat today that said between week 1 and week 2 of the XFL, viewership dropped by 50%.
Not great.
Not great. I watched none of it because I forget what I was watching, but it wasn't the XFL. It was probably like college basketball and hockey.
And you say this, and I don't mean this as a negative, even though I also mean it as a negative. You are the biggest sports and football junkie I know, and so if you're like, I didn't watch any of it, I don't know who did.
Yeah, and dude, this is meant for me. Like, Hines Ward is one of the head coaches, former Steeler. Like, there's like Martavius Bryant plays for one of the teams. The thing that I can't get behind is we really don't have... I don't feel any allegiance to any of these teams. They got rid of my team. They got rid of our team.
Who was our team? The New York Guardians?
We were Guardians fans for life. Our whole life we were Guardians fans. And
didn't Cousin Pumpkin buy like Guardians merch?
Did he?
I think so. I think Cousin Pumpkin bought
like a hat or
Guardians merch.
something.
I think so. Or
It's
maybe he was
pretty
taught. I don't
badass.
remember. Yeah, like it's cool. But yeah, like that's just like
They're
it's
in
the
weird
same
places
reason
now.
I don't watch college football because it's like these players are all going to be gone in a couple of years, right? Like it doesn't like I can't like stick around. Like in theory, you watch a pro team and they're around forever, right? But
And also, you didn't go to a school that was conducive to the college football environment. Like if
correct.
I
Yeah,
like okay, like I went to the University of Pittsburgh, right? So like I will watch them even though most of the time they were terrible. But like the past couple years like we had Kenny Pickett, that was pretty cool. And then like then he becomes a Steeler, so like that reverted me back to watch
yep,
them. But like when I was there I didn't even care cuz they like sucked. But like I could get it, like my friends that went to Penn State really like college football because they went to Penn State and that was
sure.
like a big thing. If you went to Ohio State, Alabama, all of these things, or even grew up near that and you don't have a pro team near you, I understand.
But for XFL, there's even less of a reason.
Yeah, they're like fucking Birmingham and Orlando and shit. There's not even like a New York team. So like I'm like, okay, like if I could take New York City, I'll be like, okay,
Right.
that's like the closest to me now. If they would have like a wacky Hartford team, I would be all about it. But like we had the New York Guardians, they got rid of those. We when they had the USFL, we all were lifelong die-hard San Diego Fleet fans because it was you know what week it is? It's Fleet Week every week.
Arlington, Houston, Las Vegas, Orlando, San Antonio, Seattle, St. Louis, and DC. So the closest one we have is DC, and like that doesn't feel close.
And it doesn't feel right either.
No.
You know what I mean? That's not like a oh, like we can root for DC. It's like
No, Ovechkin has ruined that city for you.
not even no, not even that. Like Rachel grew up outside of DC, so like I
True.
have no problems with DC. It's just like that's not a city that is conducive
Right. Yeah,
when
yeah, I get
you're
it.
in the East Coast. Like they
Sure.
have the Redskins, they have the Caps, they have the thing. So like I'm like oh, like I don't root for any of those other teams. So it's not like I
Right.
I can't latch on to anything. Is what I
Yeah, like if
feel.
Minneapolis had a team, I'd be like, all right, kind of, maybe. But like,
Exactly
I
right.
guess they're,
There you
they're trying
go.
to slot them into cities with, but no, some of these cities, I don't know, it's dumb. Anyway,
Also, there's like been a long thing that somebody fucking nailed it, and the thing that it needs the most is if any of these spring football leagues ever work, they need to be legitimately tied to an NFL team.
well, yeah, like kind of like the Gatorade, like the G League, right? Where like Mac McClung can like get signed to a Sixers contract, win the slam dunk contest, and be like, okay, like now, like pay me or whatever, right? Like it's just like these
No,
guys.
not even that. It's like like the Hartford Wolfpack is the farm team for the New York Rangers, which is like totally fun. You know what I mean? Like for you to be like, oh, like I can watch this, and like half the Steelers practice squad's gonna be on this team or something.
No, yeah, that's what I mean. Like the G League
Yeah.
is like
Okay.
the
Yes. Yeah.
developmental league for the NBA. So like you can see guys and get called up or whatever. Like a
Yep.
guy like this guy breaking TikTok with his like dunks and stuff, and like became a Sixer. So yeah, if you're watching these things, you're like, oh, like one day they might make the
He
team.
might be on my team. Like this is like yeah, this is somebody that and like in that case, if you're like oh yeah, like the Orlando Roughnecks or whatever the fuck the names are. If it was like, oh, well, like, it is half Steelers players that, like, probably will never play, but, like, there's a chance one or two of them might get called up at some point. You're like, yeah, I'll watch this.
Yeah, or like the Orlando Roughnecks or whatever, or like the team for like four different teams, right? And just like
Yes, exactly. Like,
yeah,
even if it was, like, split between, like all AFC North teams get like one team, right? I'd be like, okay, well, like there's a chance like I either see some like Ravens players or Browns, like who does he play for, or whatever.
in other sports news, Vin Diesel's at the NBA All Star game, and you and I both watched. We're like, okay,
Yeah, it was an interesting thing. It was weird because okay, I'm gonna admit something. Like this is how deep in lost in the sauce that I was. I was watching the Indy 500 that weekend.
okay,
Okay.
mm-hmm.
Because it was just on, because it was like on like at 5 on a Saturday. It was like in between soccer and before hockey started. So I was like, I'll fucking put the Indy 500 on, whatever. So I got that on, and they had Gabriel Iglesias, the fluffy comedian.
Yeah,
Okay, they had him on, and he did a sick ass intro for like all the drivers. Like, I mean, wasn't actually good, but it was like good for like what it, you know what I mean? He has to, like announce a bunch of NASCAR drivers and like make a joke and like like be like he's the first star NASCAR whatever, right? Like whatever. And that was like really good. And Vin Diesel's was like just
well, like I don't know that it was Vin Diesel's fault. I think that there was really not a reason for him to be there. Like I don't know what because he's just like basketball. Like I don't even remember what he said, and this was like a week
yeah.
ago.
And like cut the promo, do the Rock Super Bowl thing where you're just like whatever. Like cut a promo for Fast and the Furious. That's what you should be doing, right?
Like did you see that they had like the CGI'd Fast X advertisement on the court?
No, I didn't. I didn't see that.
So they had like, like now instead of doing like an actual like painted on the court, they're like just gonna overlay with CGI or whatever. And so they had Fast X on both sides. So it was like for
Oh, like
that,
the
but it was
digital
just
boards and
yeah.
hockey. Okay, cool. Yeah.
But it's just like okay,
I'm greatly assuming that actually the NBA audience and the Fast and the Furious audience does overlap
probably,
significantly.
probably.
So I think that it was probably a good idea for a promo spot, but I don't think they executed it super well.
It definitely did not excite us, and I feel like we would have been super excited about just about anything.
Again, I feel like I'm the target demo for this, right?
Yeah,
Like, who else is fucking watching the NBA All Star game and wants to be really hype about Fast and the Furious? So,
I don't know. The other Vin Diesel news is that Furia Riddick 4 has been announced, confirmed, whatever. That's coming out soon, so we'll cover that with Nico and Keva whenever that's out. So that's exciting, I guess.
yeah,
Maybe it'll be good this time.
I like they didn't bother me. They were pretty good.
Oh, yeah,
And plus, he
fine.
gets like he's gonna get a stupid budget for it. Whatever. Like,
True.
send it, and he's gonna probably include like half the cast of Fast and the Furious, like he does, right? Like, or a bunch of new random actors that they're like the
I think
only
it's gonna be
ones
like a
left he hasn't
screening process for Fast and Furious. You know what I mean? Just like ooh, because I think that's sort of what like Triple X3 State of the Union,
Yes,
or not
yes.
State of the Union, Return of Xander Cage felt like. We're just like, could Ruby Rose make the Fast and Furious? It's like, well, maybe we'll try her out.
Yeah, I think so. Here. This is our G League version of the Fast and the Furious, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You start there, you work your way up.
Someone who won't have a budget is that Justin Lin just set his next film, The Last Days of John Allen Chow. And so this is much more of an indie film than a major tentpole blockbuster. Not a Fast and Furious film, not another major film that he's covered. Not like a... what else has he done? I'm confusing him. Oh, he did Star Trek Beyond, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, he did Star Trek.
I
Yeah,
knew that there was one major tentpole thing. So, yeah, so he's not doing Fast X. He's not with Vin Diesel. He's going to be with a bunch of indie actors. So hopefully, he's happier there. That seems possibly cool.
yeah. We'll watch it. I'll watch it. I like Justin. I mean, we like Better Luck Tomorrow. We watch a ton of his movies. Like he did a lot
Finishing
of
the
great
game was
movies.
goofy fun.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I think he actually has like a wide range, right? Like he was doing Fast and the Furious and doing them really well, but it's not the only thing we've ever seen him do.
Right.
We haven't only seen him do action movies. I'm down for whatever.
I have one more thing. It's not really news. Was there anything you have found, anything you have seen in the last few weeks, Fast and Furious news related? Nothing really new about Fast X, I don't think. Anything else you've seen or you found?
I want to bring up something that isn't really news, but it's something that Reaction Rocket pointed
Okay.
out to us.
Oh, right. Yes.
He did some research and connected it. I think we retweeted it or we were talking about it on Twitter. The scenes that they had shot when Justin Lin was there are still in the movie, which is interesting considering we last talked about Louis Leterrier having to rewrite the whole script
Yep.
on the plane over, him changing all the acts and things like that. So they are using some of the movie that we had from Justin Lin being there for that week.
Well, they're in they're either stills or they're trailer shots. Like they might not necessarily be in the movie, but at the same time, like if you have a scene like a badass action scene with Charlize in the elevator, like why would you get rid of that? Like you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
it's
you
not like
wouldn't cut
Justin
it,
Lin's
yeah.
work was bad. It's just that he didn't want to be there. And so if you have a scene, you're like, hey, we've already spent $20 million or whatever on these three scenes. Like, okay, we'll use those, right? We'll work around it.
No.
So I don't think it's crazy. I think it's a thing that we did not think about. But yeah, I guess some of Justin Lin's work. I don't know in terms of like Directors Guild stuff if he'll be credited. I don't think he'll be officially. I don't know. Maybe
It's
he'll
probably
have
some
like
percentage of the direction and like associate versus actual director type who knows.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's something I didn't think about. It makes total sense. I'm fully with you, but also it's interesting considering, like I said, that we learned about all the rework and the change the script type situation
Yeah.
that was happening. So like it very to me, I think very well it could have been like we have to scrap this, right?
Yeah, I think so.
If it just like
But
doesn't
they,
fit the story, like I know that you'd want to use the set pieces, but if it's just like wild, not
I
that
mean, they
you,
also might have done some of that, right? And like, say he
yeah,
shot, 8 scenes and they cut 5 of them. Who knows, right? But like,
yeah,
and I don't know that we'll really know. I think Reaction Rock was saying like maybe they'll like look or feel different. I don't think they will because I think
I
like
think it'll be pretty seamless. I
for the
agree
most
with
part
you.
they all just kind of feel the same. Like they feel like, and like it's not even like a bad thing. It's just like they feel like modern action movies to a certain extent, right? Like it
Yeah,
just this
I
is the
agree.
template. So,
Yep.
anything else you've seen or noticed or remembered from Twitter?
That's it. Other because like actually it's been kind of quiet to be honest. I don't
Yeah,
even see the commercials on TV for the trailer, so like they might be waiting. It's because it is May, right? Like I don't think that they're running like the big pump yet.
right. I think that's probably going to ramp up in about a month. Well, maybe mid-April as we get closer and people are like, "Oh, that's next weekend" or whatever, right? Like it'll be or
About a
maybe it'll
month
be
before the movie, I
yeah,
think. Yeah,
mid-April to early May as this comes out in mid-May. Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
So the other thing that I saw was on Collider, which is not a thing that we've really referenced a lot, but this was called the title of the piece was "Why Haven't We Seen That Female-Led Fast and Furious Movie?"
Oh, okay, interesting.
And it's very very long and it's a combination of like actual like good thought and also just like clickbaity like this is going to be longer because we need to hit like a content threshold or whatever. I'm just like this is annoying, like let's get to it. But
Okay.
they're basically saying, as we know, like back in 2015 they're like we're going to do a Fast and Furious about the women. We're like
Yep.
cool.
Yep.
Even before the podcast we're just like that sounds great, let's do it.
Yep.
And then they greenlight, or no, maybe no, 2015 they were like we're going to do spin-offs, and that's where Hobbs and Shaw came first. And then before Hobbs and Shaw, like 7 months before Hobbs and Shaw, I think beginning of 2019 maybe, they were just like, hey, we're going to do a female spin-off. We're like, great, like this world's going to blow out, could build out, blow up, whatever, we're going to do more of this. We're like, great, cool.
Yep.
So the point of the piece is basically that COVID, number one, did not help. Number two, Hobbs and Shaw's success at the box office or lack of success at the box office didn't really help. Like it was a hit overseas, but it was like the smallest domestically, I think, since like Fast Five, and the smallest globally
Mm.
since like Fast and Furious number four. So like it was good. Like still like a lot of movies would kill to make that much money, but like for a Fast and Furious movie, it was not
And the
wildly
cost and the
successful.
yeah.
So they're like, well, those two things hurt it. Then they mentioned a thing in the piece that I did not really agree with. They were talking about how, like, and I kind of understand where they're coming from, but I disagree. They were saying that it's hard to imagine Mia or Letty having their own stories because they're so tied to Dom and Brian. And I'm like, I get
Nah.
that because they're not really super character. Like, they don't have like a ton of characterization, but like, that's kind of what this would do.
Yeah, it seems like that's the point of what this is.
Right. And they were saying that like Natalie Emmanuel as Ramsey is like the only female character we really have, like part of the family, who has like her own story, who's not tied to a man, but they couldn't really see her as a character like Fast and Furious presents Ramsey. It's just like, well, that's not really like that's not who
Who
would
you'd
see that,
want.
right?
Yeah.
Exactly. So like, who's Ramsey? It's like, oh well, she showed up in the seventh movie. Like they made 7 of those. Well, actually, they made 11 of them. You know what I mean? Like it's just one of those like, who knows?
I also think that generally like as much as I don't agree with this, perception wise to the general audience, I do agree with part of that. Like to us, like Mia and Letty have like a story that isn't tied to men and like could exist on their own, and this would give them a vehicle to do this, pun intended. But like at the same time, like I can see people being like, well, why is Dom and Brian not in this movie if it's about Letty and Mia?
Right, but they could. It's the same people who'd be saying like, "Well, why is this movie about the Fast and Furious when like Dom's not in it?" It's like, well, it's Hobbs and Shaw. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? So
Yes.
they
Exactly.
they
Yep.
were also saying though that like they commented on they were talking about the news about the Charlize spinoff that we heard rumored in the last year or whatever, and they're
Yes.
like that kind of makes sense from a marketing perspective, but like why would you tell a story about her and not like the family and who knows whatever? And so they were saying that like it seems like what Fast and Furious is doing as a franchise is leading into the marketing angle as opposed to the narratively interesting angle. So instead of doing like a Mia Letty thing or a Ramsey thing or whatever, like the women of the Fast and Furious, or maybe like a new character, who knows? They're like, well, Charlize is like the biggest name that doesn't have her own movie yet. Like, let's just do her and see how that works, right? So like,
That's weird because we pitched forever that Justin Lin listens to the fans and just delivers fan service. And this feels like the complete opposite of that.
I mean, they want at the end of the day, it's show business, right? Like they need to make money,
Yes,
and
yes,
so
yes, yes.
I don't know. Like, it's kind of disheartening. Like, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I think, if Fast X does well and Fast 11 does well, they're not going to stop it then. But I don't know where you really go from here, because Hobbs and Shaw seems to be a non-starter. Hobbs and Shaw 2, from both, like, the first one not super successful, and also The Rock doesn't want to do these movies anymore, even though he's talked about that second one. Like, I don't know where you go from here. Like, I think that if they're worried that, like, a Jordana Brewster, Michelle Rodriguez led movie isn't going to make money, they're probably not going to make it, even though they could or should. It's a weird corner to be in. So, like, this Collider thing was, like, stuff we talked about, interesting things. It's just, like, it's kind of just a bummer overall, though, I think.
It's It's kind of realistic, to be honest, which is sad.
Right. Yeah.
You're like, yeah, that kind of does make sense.
So I just saw that. I'm just like, is this clickbait? And like, it kind of is, but it's not really. And who knows? But yeah. So if you're holding your breath for this spinoff, exhale or something, I guess, right?
Yeah, maybe
like,
don't. Yeah.
Who knows? I mean, we're gonna get more of these movies in one form or other. They're not gonna let this whole franchise die, because they still make $1 billion a movie. But who knows? Anyway,
Yeah.
That's all the news. Not really news. It was just sort of like news adjacent, right?
Stream of consciousness, yeah.
Speaking of, we mentioned his name. Joe, is Dwayne Johnson in Fast X?
No.
Damn. Is he in the Fast XFL though?
I don't think he's in the XFL.
Did he he had to be like at a game, right? Like, did he go to games?
Oh no, he was, and he was tweeting about, like, I think it was Josh McGowan was the one who was like, who didn't take a backup job in the NFL because he said his sons want him to play, like, his sons like to see him play football, and he's like, well, they won't see me play football if I'm a backup in the NFL, so he took a lot less money to start in the XFL, which,
man, like,
is a wild idea to me.
Backup quarterback in the NFL is the dream, man. Like, you hold a clipboard, you get like $500,000 or whatever a year. Like, come on.
More, like, decent money. Yeah, it, like, all you, like, you still get to, like, hang out. You get a ring if they fucking, what's his name, has 2 Super Bowl rings. The backup for Patrick Mahomes.
Mm-hmm.
And just retired and was like, 2 rings, I'm out. And they're like, sick,
It's like, kids, I know you want to watch me play, but I'll buy you 10 iPads. You can watch me my college highlights, right? Just like, shut up. Let me sit on the bench.
And I get, like, all the pro ass gear too. It's not like remember the last time the XFL folded? They were like not paid for their hotel rooms and shit. Like, you get like a solid ass setup, gym, bullshits, galas, fucking whatever you want to do, dude.
Oh, what was the thing I saw today? Was it football or was it not? Hold on. There was a thing about, like, a team charging their players for food in the facility. Arizona Cardinals,
oh God,
have a policy of deducting dinner from players' paychecks should players want to get food from the facility.
That seems good.
Joe, extracurricular activities. What have you been up to since the last episode? How is your Oscar movie catch-up going?
I am doing delightful, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So I watched through pretty much all the Best Picture noms, and I'm halfway. I had 2 left, well, 1.5 left, because we watched the first half of Elvis until the Penguin game started yesterday, and I really liked a lot of these. I was, hey, the Banshees of Inisherin. I can relate to be wanting to be left the fuck alone. That movie resonated so deeply with me at a time where I just wanted to be left the fuck alone.
Sure.
And that's like the theme of that movie. I was like, holy shit. Didn't think I would love this movie as much as I did. It's funny. The theme of being left alone. I love it.
Mm-hmm. And drinking.
And drinking, yeah. Tar, much better than I thought that I would have liked.
I think Tar, I think I said it on here, I think Tar is the best movie I've seen since Parasite. Not my favorite, but I think it's the best made movie, the best acted movie, the best movie overall since Parasite.
I think it's very, very good. I liked it, and I was dreading watching it. Also, finally, yes, got around to watching Factory of Sadness, Triangle of Sadness.
Mm-hmm.
Hilarious. I fucking loved it. I was a huge fan. I pitched this movie to everyone after I saw it. I think that that's my personal favorite of all the ones I've seen. Not saying it's the best, not saying it'll win anything, but I think Triangle of Sadness was my favorite. I pitched it, and Zach watched it, who never watches actual films, only watches blockbusters. Because I was like talking in our group chat about how much I liked it, and I was like, "Oh, did anybody watch this yet?" And he was like, "I did," and he was like, "I hated it." I was like, "Yeah, not for you."
That guy's made two other movies that I've liked a lot. He made the Square. We talked about this before. He made Triangle of Sadness, but he also made the Square, just working his way through the shapes. And then he also made Force Majeure.
Yes, my boss was telling me about this because I was telling him that I watched this movie and really liked it, and he said you gotta watch Force Majeure. He really really liked it, and he
They
recommended it.
remade it in America like 3 years later with Will Ferrell and Julia Louis Dreyfus, which I love her and I like him and stuff. But like,
Ah,
and I'm like, and apparently that went over very poorly. But the Force Majeure, the premise of it is that a family is vacationing at this like ski resort and an
yep,
avalanche happens,
yep.
and the dad just sprints away, like he doesn't protect his family, and like they're fine, but the rest of the movie they're like, what the fuck, like
Like,
you left us.
save yourself.
And so he just like sprints away, and so like it's kind of like the fallout from that. So it's really good, and the Square is wild too. But Triangle of Sadness I think is also great. I think it's also funny that you're like dreading watching it, great movie, really liked it. It's just like, yeah, like I don't put weight in the Oscars, but like these are like deemed the
The
best movies of the
10 the
year,
10 best movies of
and
the
you're
year.
like,
Yes.
bro, it's good. Can you believe it? It's like, yeah, that's kind of the point.
Yeah, no. That's why I watch them, man. That's the whole shtick, right? Because like I'll dread them, and I know that this isn't my first year doing this.
I know,
I know it. Like
and yet,
every year, I'm like, damn, those were like 10 really good movies. Like maybe I didn't like it, but it's like beautiful. The acting's good. Like yeah, it works. They're pretty right. So
yeah.
I'm sure that there's like a ton of foreign movies and other things that they're missing and smaller whatever bullshit. But like the ones that they do pick are usually pretty good. So that's where I'm going. I am totally dreading women talking. Elvis was like fun and wacky and like a completely different tone than I thought it would be like going into it. But I'm gonna probably finish that up tonight.
Yeah, the movie's like 6 hours long.
Yeah, yeah.
A
We
lot of these
watched.
movies are long. Like Tar's 2.5 hours long. Elvis is like 240. I think Everything
Yeah.
Everywhere is like 220 or
Oh
something.
yeah,
Like
yeah, 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 yeah.
a lot of them are, if a movie has to be long, that's like it's worth. Like I think Tar works better longer, but like a lot of these are kind of Triangle of Sadness is like 240, right? Like there's a
Yeah.
lot of long movies.
Okay, but other than that, it's getting to be a fun time sports weekend for me this weekend. Uh, I after we finish recording, I get to coast for the rest of the weekend, which
Hmm.
will be first race of F1 of the year starts tomorrow.
Cool.
Yeah, so you get the practices. The NFL Combine starts tomorrow. Then we have the race this weekend. We're wrapping up college basketball to get ready for March Madness. Hockey's getting it's the trade deadline on Friday for hockey, so that's fun. It's like just a good all around sports weekend. But on top of that, two other things. They brought back Beavis and Butthead on Comedy Central, by the way, like new episodes, and I did not realize how much I missed that show.
Oh, that was on. It's been on Paramount Plus for a while.
What do you?
They put out a movie and they put out a series like last year or a year and a half ago,
Yes.
and now
Well,
they're
I
finally
didn't.
just airing them on TV. I guess. Yeah, no, those have been out for a while.
All the episodes?
Yeah, they put out like a bunch of episodes on Paramount Plus like a while ago.
So I can go watch the rest of them. I don't need to wait for Wednesdays on Comedy Central after South Park.
Unless they moved it there, yeah. Beavis and Butthead episodes. Yeah, so they put out 12 episodes last summer and last fall.
Okay, and they're just airing them now after South Park as
Yeah,
new
because
episodes.
Viacom, because Paramount owns both those. Yeah.
Oh fuck. Okay, well I'm gonna go watch the rest of them because I've been like waiting, and they're really funny. I really missed.
Did you watch the movie Do the Universe?
No, I don't think I did.
Oh, because like the
I know.
show, like the series is just like, well, you saw them do the universe, but you didn't. So like, go watch that. The movie's good.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
If only you had a friend who knew way too much about TV that you could have asked. Although you do save
I
stuff for
save
here.
it. I
I
save it
know.
for here, dude. That's the whole point. Okay, so see, now we got to the end of there. So, anyways, I was watching it. I really like the segments where they like watch like music videos and stuff
Yeah.
like that. It's like one of my favorite things ever, and like the nostalgia hits really, really hard. So, watching them do like a modern version of that, watching new artists and like ASMR videos and whatever, whatever,
Yeah.
has been cracking me up. I really fucking like it, and I'm glad that you just told me that I have something else to watch this weekend, which is all the rest of these episodes that I thought were being released weekly
There
now.
you go. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Last thing, Old Skeezers, the MILF Manor show.
Ugh.
This show, is it's getting as bad and gross as you'd imagine. Uh, I'm
Which means that
continuing.
you're liking it.
I'm
Or
loving
is,
it.
or is it
Yeah.
even? Oh, okay. I was gonna say, or is it getting too gross even for you? But okay.
No, no. Like it's really really amazingly gross. So like I've been watching that, but on top of that, I have another show that I love that I might have talked about before, but season 2 is out on TLC right now, and they're releasing episodes weekly. Officially, they're not just on fucking Discovery Plus, and I don't know. Okay, they're releasing new episodes. It's called Extreme Sisters, and I think I've told you about this before because I call it Creepy Sisters. In the first episode of season 2, at least 3 of the sets of sisters were in a bath naked together,
Mm-hmm.
and at least 2 of the sets of sisters were inspecting the other sister's vagina.
Okay.
There was some overlap, and there was some non-overlap in that groupings.
Okay.
It is the creepiest shit I've ever seen in my life.
And
It
yet you
is.
watch it.
It's so weird. I know. It's like a car crash. Like you can't look away. It's incredible. It's so fucking weird. They're like constantly trying to like destroy the other one's relationships in weird ways, but like pretending like they're not. They're like too inseparable. It's like very codependent in a weird way. Awesome. If you love horrible, disgusting trash TV, TLC one makes the best of it. And two, Extreme Sisters, or as we call it, Creepy Sisters, is one of my favorite shows on right now.
Very
So,
important question for you. If I don't like those shows, what should I do?
don't
Cool.
turn on.
Got
Just,
it.
just, just delete TLC off. Like parental block the channel of TLC on your TV and throw the code away. That's what you should do because TLC has like Creepy Sisters, Mama's Creepy Moms and Sons. It has all the fucking 90 days, every which way, upwards, downwards, backwards, sideways. So like TLC is the best. But Creepy Sisters, if you're not watching it and you love shit TV, highly recommended. It's very good. Oh, I got tickets to go see Bruce Springsteen.
Yes, you had a hell of a day where you like the hits kept coming.
The hits kept coming. I had like just a fucking great week last week. This week has been pretty decent. Last week was like top tier, man. And one of the highlights was I got my Bruce Springsteen tickets, so I will be going to see Bruce
At
this
face value, right? From
yes,
from
yes,
from the
yes.
actual seller. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, from Ticketmaster, which I mean, the face value. But I got tickets to go see Bruce Springsteen, so I'm really stoked on that. And that's a long way away, but
Well, yeah, I mean,
it'll,
you can laugh about your or har 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 at your face value, but like I guarantee you paid less money for those than I did for the Taylor tickets.
it's arguable, dude. The Bruce tickets were fucking expensive.
The I will say the face value on the
Yeah.
Taylor tickets. I'm not gonna say what I paid, but the face value before fees was $750.
Yeah. Yeah, you definitely paid more.
Mm-hmm. It's the VIP, like it's the whole thing. Like there's a lot of
Yeah,
stuff,
you get that too. Yeah.
but it's still like yeah, it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. But I'm going in May, so we'll talk about that then.
But I think that's about it, brother. What have you been up to? Anything fun? Anything exciting?
So I've done dumb food things the last two
Ooh,
weekends, both
tell
times
me.
in Tom's River. So my friend threw a birthday party for her husband, and they did the Hot Ones challenge.
Oh, nice. So you got to try. I've never tried all the sauces. How were they? Does one of them taste like battery acid, like everybody says on the show?
The Da Bomb one is bad. Like it just doesn't taste good. Like some of the hotter ones, like I like spicy food. I don't love like I have friends or I've had friends or whatever who will like give me the spiciest wings. I want to cry while I'm like I don't like that. Like just give me something that tastes good.
Yes, same.
I
So you
didn't
do,
love
but
the
you do
taste.
spicy food
Yeah,
because
yeah,
like
yeah.
okay, okay. If you get regular wings, do you get mild, medium, buffalo? What do you get?
I would get
Hot?
either medium or hot. Like when I go to Wild
Okay.
Wings, which is sometimes just because
Shit.
it's close, it's
Yeah.
not good, but it's like they're chicken
No.
nuggets. They're decent chicken nuggets, but I get their spiciest dry rub. Like I like a dry rub. I don't like a goopy sauce sometimes, but like their desert heat dry rub, I think it just tastes really good. And that's they say it's super hot. I don't think it's that hot. Who knows? Whatever. But I would
Okay.
normally get like a medium buffalo to depending on the place, maybe a hot buffalo, but usually a medium. I
Yeah,
didn't
fair.
like the flavor of a lot of these. Like it just wasn't very
Sometimes
good.
that's the experience that I have, and Like I like heat, and we even crank stuff up, and we drink while we cook a lot. So like a lot of times, like we over hot things.
Hmm.
One of my favorite things ever, and I'm trying to recreate it this year, is that a bunch of my coworkers grew a bunch of habaneros and we smoked them, and then I like smoked them, dried them, and pureed them, and I have that, and like you only need like a little splash, but it has like a really nice heat and a smoky flavor to it, and
Hmm.
like I put that shit in a lot of things, and it's awesome. But I'm with you. I can understand that like there's some things that are just hot to be hot and
Yeah.
don't like taste good, and you're like, well, why am I doing this?
Yeah, and like even the things that weren't like overly hot, like it just didn't have like I there are some that they've described in the show where I'm like, that actually sounds really good. Like I might want to buy a bottle, but like through their store, like it's just like obscene shipping. I'm just like, I'm not gonna go through it before the bottle goes bad. Like I don't cook enough, I don't like make wings enough, like whatever, it doesn't matter. But these, like they were all there. I'm just like, okay, like I maybe out of the 10, like one or two I think tasted good. The Da Bomb one, which is always eighth because there's always two hotter ones,
Yes,
just
yes,
like
yes, yes.
tastes awful. And the hotter ones were hot, but like they weren't like the bomb felt like it was made to just bring pain, right? Like it wasn't made to
Okay.
taste good. It wasn't made like the other ones I could see like being like these are incredibly spicy, but at least we're trying to make this taste good. And the bomb was not. So like
Was the last dab one, was it like actually hot? Because I've heard reports that like people were like, it's really not that hot. Like I've
it
had
was
worse.
really hot, but it wasn't like I also don't know like if the bomb just like broke our mouths or whatever. Like it was fine. Like
Okay.
I ate them all. They were all good. Drank milk, drank water. It was fine. Like I got through it, but like I did it. It was fine. I wouldn't do it again. I would rather just have like, oh, this sauce is really good. Try the sauce. It's pretty hot though. Like I would rather have like a recommended hot sauce as opposed to just like here's 10 that get hotter. It's just like okay, like most of these probably aren't going to be great. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, and can you imagine them? Because they always say that like the wings were ordered, like they shoot these at like 8 a.m., 9 a.m. or whatever, right?
insane. Yeah, because it's all like on press junkets. Usually like there's like the actor going around. And they're just like I have like 8 interviews today or whatever. And so yeah.
So like many of the times I've seen them be like, these wings are like cold and shitty. Like the wings are shitty, and then if the sauces like don't even taste good and they're just like hot and weird, you'd be like, this is pretty miserable.
Yeah.
But okay, that's fun though.
So then this past weekend, this is a thing that's been going on that we've been talking about in Lottery Pod for a while. I don't know that there's any crossover between this and Lottery Pod, but
Oh, I saw this and I wanted to ask you about it.
yeah,
Perfect.
okay.
Please explain.
Me and Bob and our friend Real got together at Real's house to watch the first X-Files movie like a year or two ago. Like when we were watching the X-Files every week, like after I
Yep.
think the
Yep.
fifth season we got together and like literally right near where he lives, like a minute or two away, there are a bunch of different chain restaurants.
Yeah.
And
This
Bob
happens.
was
Yeah.
like, "Oh, the Quadrant," and we're just like, so we're talking about like how there's like a Red Lobster and there's a Fridays and there's an Olive Garden and there's a Chili's and there's like other stuff too or whatever. And so we were always talking about how we should do the Quadrant. We should go to all four of these restaurants back to back, get something from each, and just then go watch whatever.
Was there like an argument? Was there like an argument between like which one's the best, or was
No,
it all
well,
just like these
I'll
all
get to
worked?
that. I'll get to that. I'll
Okay,
get to
good.
that. We were going on a real run. Like basically, we were watching two a week on a weekly basis up until September when Bob got a new job and Real had a second kid, and they both got incredibly busy. And then I'm like, well, I'm gonna go see a bunch of concerts, and it's like we had like 6 episodes to go, which would have taken us 3 weeks, and it took us from mid September to the end of February to watch those 6 episodes and the
Okay.
movie. Like it just didn't work. So we're finally like, okay, here's the movie. We're going to do the Quadrant and then watch the movie. So we go down there. I had never been to a Red Lobster before. Bob had never been to an
Ever?
Olive Garden before. Yeah, no. 'Cause,
What?
like,
What? What? Okay, go ahead.
well, number
Okay,
one,
this got wild.
I don't like seafood. My dad doesn't like seafood. Like I don't like seafood because my dad doesn't like seafood. So like we didn't have it growing up. So
Fuck
like
that. Cheddar Bay biscuits are fire.
I know they're good, but like you're not going to go there just for the whatever. So
I have. Okay.
I okay, but they just come on the table. You know, a bacon waffle for the table. Bob had never been to
Exactly.
an Olive Garden. I think that's also understandable because like we live in New Jersey, and like why would you go to like a chain Italian restaurant opposed to like a real Italian restaurant?
So I make this argument all the time with pizza because we live in New Haven. There's like pizza and then there's shit pizza, right? Like
Yeah,
sometimes
I
you
know.
want
Yeah,
Pizza Hut, and like I get that that's not real pizza. It's definitely not authentic, or and like all of these things, but like there's just something about like really shitty versions of
I
food
get
that's
it.
also endearing in its own way.
Bob's favorite was, of the four, is probably, I think it's Red Lobster. Mine, I think, is probably Fridays. I don't
I
remember what
love
Reels
Fridays too.
is.
What did you guys get at each thing? Did you get like highlight reel menu items, or like
So
what did you
we
get?
were making up rules as this went along.
Okay, okay.
We each need to order something from each thing. While we were there, we are like, if they offer us something for free, we can't say no. So it's like, hey, do you want cheese? Do you want something like if not
Yeah,
like
that's
not
fair.
like do you want to add shrimp to that because that costs some money? But it's just like, hey, if
Yes.
you want this, whatever,
Do
like
you
you
like
can't say no.
breadsticks? Yes, you get
Right,
breadsticks. You
exactly.
want cheddar bay biscuits? Yes, I want cheddar bay biscuits. Yeah.
So my goal was to kind of like get something that represents the restaurant at each place. And so I had laid out my plan, and we went in the order that I just put them in, but like it didn't really matter because they're all like super close, and like
Yeah, okay,
we all
exactly.
kind of did the same thing. But we started at Red Lobster,
What'd you get?
and I was just gonna get cheddar bay biscuits, and they're like, well, it's not really, they just come, so you have to order something. I'm like, all right. So I got a lobster topped baked potato.
Oh, how was that?
It was fine. It's good. Like the actual potato was like heavily salted, heavily seasoned. It was
Oh
good.
yeah. Red Lobster does really, really good, like really salty baked potatoes on the outside. Top tier. I'm a fan of that. Go ahead.
Like the thick, coarse sea salt, pretty good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Bob and Reel got, I think, New England clam chowder soup, maybe.
Okay, cool.
We all got cheddar biscuits on the table.
Yep.
Good. In and
Okay.
out, sort of like an appetizer. Then
Yep.
we go to Olive Garden. They both get a make your own pasta. They do not realize it also comes with soup, so they have to get the soup.
Well, soup, salad,
Soup
and
or
breadsticks.
salad. Yeah, well,
Yes,
yes. Yeah.
exactly.
And so they also get this chicken and gnocchi soup.
Yeah, which Rachel loves.
I also got it. It was really good. I'll get to that in a second. But it's a second restaurant in a row where they're having a cream based soup, and it's just like, well,
Okay.
this is a
Yeah,
lot
that's
early in the
true.
day.
It's true.
And by the end of that, they were both in rough shape. Real was in really rough shape, and afterwards he's talking shit. He's just like, I could have had 4 entrees. I'm just like, dude, you almost died at Olive Garden. Anyway, I'm like, this is kind of still appetizer for me. I don't want to get the entree here. I'm gonna get unlimited soup, salad, and breadsticks. So they give me
Oh
that big ass
God.
bowl of salad. I eat the entire bowl of salad because I'm just like waiting there.
Salad's
I
fire, right?
it's a very good chain salad, right?
We like you can buy the Olive Garden dressing and it's really good to marinate chicken in.
Ooh, I believe that. Yeah.
Yeah, put that in your brain list. Check.
I have 2 breadsticks. I bring the rest home, but I didn't eat them. They refused to eat the breadsticks. They
What?
should have eaten. I know. It's
Haters?
fine. I just whatever. They were both struggling. I was like, this is fine. And then I also got the chicken gnocchi soup, and that was good. So I had that.
Okay, cool.
We also told the waitress because like I'm just sitting there like they're struggling to eat so much pasta, and I'm just like I'm killing it. I'm crushing it. I
Well,
haven't
nobody
had a
said you
ton
had
of
to
food.
finish the meal. You can always just pack it up and
No, well, no. You
Okay.
have to. Part of the rules, you have to eat what you order.
Okay, so yeah, so you shouldn't have got pasta at all.
Right. That's the
Okay.
issue. Yeah.
Fine.
Although also like Olive Garden, it's like soup, salad, and breadsticks, or like the tour of Italy. Like it's either like the pasta or this or whatever. So like whatever.
Yeah.
So we're good. We leave. We go to Chili's. And I'm
Okay.
like, this is where I'm gonna get. So Chili's to me, one of two things: either baby back ribs or something that sizzles. So I'm like, I'm gonna get fajitas.
That's you nailed it. That was incredible. Good choices. Go ahead.
So I get the vegetarian fajitas, and they both get something off like the guilt-free menu, like the sort of smaller portions, healthier, whatever. Bob gets
okay.
salmon. Real gets what did he get?
Salmon
he got a
and
steak. He
chilies.
got a steak.
With
Yeah.
steak and salmon and chili. They're just making bad decisions left and right. Okay, go ahead.
So I'm like, this is, I was content after Olive Garden, but not really full. I was like full in the middle of my meal here. I'm just like, I'm pretty good, but like we got more to go. So we leave, and as we
Okay.
leave Chili's, so in this parking lot, there is the Olive Garden next to Fridays, and we walked like 2 sort of like big parking lots down to go to Chili's because like we're gonna end at Fridays, like we're all planning to get dessert there, or whatever. We're gonna go to Chili's first. We walk out of Chili's and the door locks, and it's like we're closed for the evening. And we're like, whoa! Can you imagine? We had planned for months, if not more than months, like a year, if we were gonna do the quadrant, and then we get to Chili's and Chili's is closed.
It would have been miserable. You'd have to go you'd have to find a new Chili's.
It would have been terrible. But like
Yep.
the point of this is that they're all like right there. Like, you can't just go to another Chili's. Like you have to be whatever. So we're just like, we don't know
Okay.
what, like we got lucky, we whatever. Because there's like this family. This is really funny. Like there's like this guy with his family, and his family has like like an 8-year-old son, like a 10-year-old daughter. He goes, "What the fuck just happened?" Like just like very Jersey, very just like angry that like he can't go to Chili's. And we were talking about how funny it would have been if he also showed up to Fridays. Be like, didn't I just see you leaving Chili's? It's like, yeah, man, don't worry about it. Like, we're doing the whole thing. Don't worry about that. I don't know where they went. We didn't see them at Fridays, but we got there, and then like later I called Chili's because like on the door they're like, "Sorry, we're closed this evening. I'm closing at 6 or whatever." And then I called them. I'm just like, I want to see like what's up. Like they're having a private event. I'm like, "Hey, how late are you open tonight?" And they said, "Oh, we're open till 10:30." I'm like, oh, "Okay, thanks," but like they weren't open. Like they were closed. I don't understand. Whatever. So maybe we could have gone back there later. It's mysteries abound. So we left Chili's all feeling pretty full. We go to Fridays and we all get the same thing, which is the Oreo Madness stuffed, the two big Oreo cookies with ice
Oh
cream in the
yeah,
middle.
hot fudge. Oh yeah, I'm sold.
Delicious.
Yep,
All great. I'm feeling very, very full.
very
We all
gross.
very gross. Yeah, we all go home. We're all just kind of like burpy and just like we're overly full or whatever. And then I didn't feel like I had to eat for another like 22 hours or something. Like it was like I was just like I'm full for a very long time.
Well, good job.
Thank
I
you
like
so
it.
much.
That's a lot of fun.
We're talking about how to do it better, like if we want to add another location, how you could change things up, how you can mix things up, whatever. I don't know. We got lots of options, but the quadrant was a success. So shout
That's
out
awesome.
to the quadrant. In other things, I've been to the movies a couple times. Oh, back on my Movie Pass bullshit. I have not gotten the card yet,
Yes.
but I re-enrolled for Movie Pass. Very excited about that. But I've seen Magic Mike's Last Dance, which we talked about earlier. Really liked it. Mixed reviews, but also like, fuck it. It's great. It's fun. The second movie is perfect. I think it's wonderful. One of the best movies, like genuinely one of my favorite movies that's ever been made. This one, not as good, but still really good.
Cool.
So I saw that a few weeks ago. Then I saw, what was the movie? Oh, Ant-Man. Did not like.
Yo, dude, we tried to watch. This is gonna sound terrible, but we tried to watch Black Panther for like one of the Oscar movies, and I legit fell asleep in the middle of it, and it
Yeah,
was like
it's
8:30. Like not. It was just boring, dude.
Yeah, Marvel's lost at sea right now. No pun intended for the water in that, but like,
Yeah.
I think Ant-Man and Wasp: Quantumania. I was also on Aaron Newworth's podcast, Out Now with Aaron and Abe, to talk about them. We were all just like, this is bad. Like this is like, and I try to like find positive things, and like I like Catherine Newton in this, but like, I think this is one of the worst Marvel movies that's ever been made. Like
Yeah.
it just there's no point to it. They're trying to set up the whole future with Kang. Like Jonathan Majors is a great actor. It's a mess, man. So like, don't rush out to see Quantumania. I feel like if you wanted to see it, you would have already seen it. Otherwise, like you'll wait for Disney Plus. But like, ay ay ay.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm gonna wait for Disney Plus.
And then this past weekend, I saw Cocaine Bear, which the trailer, great trailer, all timer for trailer. This movie, not as good as a trailer. It's just kind of disappointing. Like they go for it, and like there's some violent stuff, but it just not doesn't really work as a movie.
This was a movie that I was very nervous at how much they were hyping it. Like there
Yeah,
was so much promo that I was like, I'm getting kind of scared about this.
yeah,
So
it's not terrible, but like I would say if you're interested in Cocaine Bear, don't spend money on Cocaine Bear. I would say so. Magic Mike's Last Dance now on VOD will be on HBO Max within a month. So like just watch it there. Don't see Quantumania if you're curious. I guess wait for Disney Plus and then wait for, Netflix or wherever Cocaine Bear winds up. Like, I don't think you need, like, the only one of the three I would say spend money on is Magic Mike, but like, that's going to be at home very soon anyway. So, like, you don't have to pay to see that. But like, yeah, Cocaine Bear, it's not bad. It's just not good. Like, it's kind of disappointing. This weekend, though, I'm seeing Creed 3, which I'm excited about. I think that should be good.
oh yeah, that is true.
But yeah, we'll
I
talk
saw
about that. I'm sure
commercials
Mike
for
is
that.
going to cover that on third times
Oh,
because
cool.
seems like a thing he's going to do. Did we do another podcast? Did I do another podcast? Oh, out now, main feed, or out this Monday, if you're on the Patreon feed, will be 1999 the podcast with Mark Hoffmeyer, where we talked about a little film that he kind of likes called Deep Blue Sea. He might have done an entire podcast about Deep Blue Sea called Deep Blue Sea the podcast, but he joined me and John to talk about it over there. So
Cool.
go check that out on Monday, March 6th. But yeah, I think that's about it. Joe, do you want to watch the trailer for The Fate of the Furious?
Oh yeah, we can watch the trailer.
Because next week we're doing Hobbs and Shaw with Montez, but the last episode we did with her was The Fate of the Furious. So this is the Fate of the Furious official trailer, hashtag F8 in theaters, April 14th HD, posted by The Fast Saga.
I'm ready whenever you are, bud.
The top comment says, not like they used to be, but will still be a good watch. All right. 3, 2, 1, play.
Oh shit.
I'm sure I've seen this trailer, but I also
Time to get lit.
don't know for sure.
You were only supposed to create a diversion, Roman.
That was complete destruction. What you want from me? I'm Roman Pierce.
Okay.
Man. That's what I do.
This is a weird...
Phase 2? What's phase 2?
Way to start it, yeah.
Like, I don't even know if that Roman Pierce line... Like, it seems like they're playing fast and loose with the editing here.
Yep.
But again, this is in line with the modern show a big set piece, show a stunt for a while, right? Like we did in F7, they did the whole, like, bridge thing, right?
Yeah.
He's about to go up against the only thing they can't handle. You.
Oh my god, is that Charlize Theron's voice? Is she in this movie?
Oh man.
Did you ever
Yep.
think you'd betray your family the way you did today?
Is that picture in the movie? That insert shot of the
I don't know. I was just thinking that too, dude. I really, really was.
Look at that.
I don't know why he's doing this, but that wasn't dumb.
She's the very definition of high-tech terrorism. And now, she's working with your guy.
Honestly,
I think I found my team.
not a great trailer.
Interesting.
No, this isn't one of the best ones.
And like I know that I have, and I think you have, like, come around on Fate a lot. Like I think we've
Yeah,
like
yeah,
Fate a lot
yeah.
more than what we did. But this is not getting me hyped for this movie.
I mean, there's some cool stuff in it, but it's like not like the 9 trailer was fire.
9 trailer was great. The 10 trailer was great.
Yeah.
I will beat you like a Cherokee drum.
Okay.
Censored.
Yeah.
Oh, it took longer than I expected. If you're gonna catch Dom, you guys are gonna...
Holy moly.
Surprise.
I just fell in love.
I've been waiting for this. We got a tank. Let's roll.
Here they come.
This is so, like, it's not slow, but it feels slow and long.
Yes. That's a good way to describe it. Like, there's definitely stuff happening, but it feels like a weird pacing.
And there's no, like, weight to it.
This, like, dance party doesn't really happen.
I mean, it's a quick insert shot, right? Like it's the Cuban dance in the beginning, right?
I guess.
They spoil the submarine. I mean, the submarine's also on the poster, so like people know it's a submarine.
Yeah.
I don't think we see that whole like Vin looking at Charlize giving her the nod of approval.
Back on family.
That's kind of a cool shot.
Yeah.
Like, and again, like I know that I'm anti-trailer and I'm gonna find things to pick nits with, but like I feel like spoiling that like Dom turns against the family, even though you have to. Like it feels like that would have been so much cooler. Like I don't think it works in the movie, but I think it would have been cooler to sort of discover that as you're watching than to have like the whole trailer be about. You know what I mean? But like I know it's a premise of the movie. I know you have to. But it's just like it feels.
Yeah. That one wasn't one of my favorites. I'm sure that there's probably like the second trailer is better or whatever, but like,
can you imagine this was posted in December of 2016, so like 4 or 5 months before the movie comes out. It's been like a year and a half since Furious 7 came out. You know, Paul passed away. You're so hyped for a new movie. Like, this is what you get. You're like, okay.
I'll see it. Yeah, I'll see it.
It all started with a tuna sandwich with no crust. Hashtag RIP Paul Walker. Hashtag respect. That's actually the top comment. I don't know why. I don't know how these are sorted, but yeah. Well, underwhelming, but you know.
It happens.
Whatever. Anyway, the final thing to do before we pack it up, go home, is the Fast and Furious minute 83.
You're a good driver, man.
Thanks, bro.
We've got the area blocked ahead. They've got nowhere to go. What was that?
I've got a visual. Vin video should be coming through.
Got it. Looks good. Where are they going?
So what's interesting about this minute, I'm gonna do the plot and overview in a second, is that like so much is on screen and nothing happens. Like there's a lot going on, and I'm like, is this really the entire plot? So in this minute, Brian and Roman continue to race down the street and around corners, evading police. Police cars set up a roadblock as police helicopters survey the area. A customs helicopter flies over the police helicopter, confusing the police pilot. And Brian and Roman continue to race down the street. And that's it. Like they're just driving around. And I'm like, am I missing things? Like we cut to Bilkins for a little bit. He is just sort of along for the ride with us. There's lots of turns. There's lots of corners. But like in terms of like describing what happens in a minute, nothing happens. They're just driving and police helicopters are flying around. What we see is a lot of the stuff that you pick out, that you find stuff, you know, things on screen, cars, screens, whatever. But like in terms of like what this minute is, it's just like drivey drive.
Just more drifting through the streets of Miami, through the fashion district. Yep.
And even I was like, okay, I don't have a lot to go on here. I kind of corrected some of the music. Like there's maybe like the airstrip approach. There's a city chase. Like I fixed some of the David Arnold score stuff. I'm like, okay, I got that. I'm like, okay, I'm going to dig like this female helicopter pilot. She's got a couple lines in this. I'm going to figure out who she is. Maybe she's a pilot. Maybe she's an actor. Who knows? Not even on IMDb. I have no idea who this woman is.
Okay.
I got nothing here. You got a bunch of stuff. There's a couple screens in here. There's a lot of scenes through Miami. What did you find? Anything of note? Anything interesting here?
The tail numbers of the helicopters are just like one number off, but they are different helicopters.
Okay.
I found a lot of the businesses have addresses. So like a lot of the things they pass, it's all fashion district stuff. They're in the fashion district of Miami, Northwest 5th Avenue. So like a bunch of different places there. Like,
do you have the names for any of them?
Yeah. Maria Moreno's.
Well, shout out Maria. That's all. That's the only reason I want to say it, because we always shout out Maria. Shout out Maria.
Okay, Maria Moreno's. JK Miami Corp. A bunch of, like a sign that is for a cafe that's there. Whatever. There is some interesting things on the screens, though.
Okay, because there's two different screens, right? There's like two, because you asked me for...
Bilkins is at like a command center with like 3 monitors that we see 2 of. And then there's also like giant screens behind them that Bilkins stands up and looks at.
Yep.
When they're tracking the cars, something I found that was funny, because obviously, you know, nobody's supposed to be paying attention to this. They gave the cars different numbers, like assignee numbers kind of things. But both of the cars are labeled Mitsubishi Evos, which only Brian has an Evo.
So they just like copied and pasted it and like didn't.
Yeah, it's the exact same thing. That's what I'm saying. So that was funny. But okay, besides all the other bullshit, like there's like a lot of in the big screens on the TV, it's just like a lot of fucking numbers. And like I didn't copy any. They're just random strings of numbers.
You said at one point you thought it was like a conversation. Was there anything like what was that conversation?
That's exactly what I'm getting to.
Okay.
Thank you. You walked right into it. Okay. On the middle screen behind Bilkins, there is a log. Oh, the other cool thing is like we know the date here. It tells us the date at some point. It's like the 22nd of September on one of the screens. So that's cool. If we ever need the chronology, we know that it's there.
Obviously the trivia question.
Yeah, right. So there's a log transcription from, I think it's from 313 transcription. It's hard, dude. Even like, you know, because I have to like zoom in. It's hard. I want to read the transcription of this phone call to you here, because I just find this very interesting.
Okay, you haven't put this in the doc yet, have you?
No, I haven't. I can like barely make out half of it. It's very, like, if can I send you a picture of what this looks like just so you can see it?
Are you going to send me the picture that you asked me to send you earlier?
But yeah, just like zoom, like even zoomed in, like
blurry.
Just,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Okay, so this is what I can make out. Caller, hello, incoming call. May I speak to Marcus? Caller, this is Marcus. Who's this? Hey, Marcus, what's up? This is Lance. Lance Barnebe, I guess. I can't read that.
It almost looks like Harambe, but yes, let's call it Barnebe.
Yes. From school. How you been doing? Hey, man, you're out of the joint finally?
Also the wrong your. I think that's just Y-O-U-R, but keep going.
It is. Finally, if hadn't legal or I am going to have to turn you in for
Reward money.
Mm-hmm. Marcus, you never change, do you? I'm serious, dude. I can't.
Oh, no, you missed. Ha 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 ha.
Oh, sorry. Ha ha ha. I'm serious, dude. I can't be conversing with an escaped convict. Don't worry. I'm out on good behavior. If we
learn from
the joint that some
things...
things aren't worth getting in trouble for.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What does it say?
Good. I'm glad to
hear it. So, what can I do for you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know where I can get a gun? What do you need a gun for? I thought you changed your
ways like that.
I swear it's nothing like that, since I take care of the what?
Job,
I will never turn to crime again. I swear. You stupid man. What if you get caught there?
What if you get caught this time around?
You'll never get out on parole again.
Parole spelled wrong.
Yes, something.
Besides, what is the job anyways?
Okay, this is the best part. I'm going to kill my parole officer so I don't have to.
Holy shit. That's
right?
Amazing.
Somebody wrote that.
Wow.
And nobody was ever supposed to read it, but like that punchline at the end really sent me.
Wow. That's so good.
It's incredible. We can't use it for anything, but it's awesome.
Honestly, us doing 185 of these minutes across 2 movies, worth it now.
Yeah. What do you need a gun for? It's nothing like that. I'm just going to shoot my parole officer.
I know, without naming names, there have been other podcasts that break these movies down by minute. I almost guarantee you...
This is the first... I think that this might be the first time anybody that watches this movie has ever read that conversation.
I want to know who... It had to be like some production assistant, right? Like just like...
Yeah.
We need text on screen.
But that's like a full-ass script. Like, they came up with like a short bit.
Like, today,
Why does it make sense?
I don't know. Like, you ask ChatGPT, you're like, hey, create a phone conversation between 2 people, 2 criminals, one just getting out of parole. Like, they just, like, bang it out in 30 seconds. But, like, this is 20 years ago. This is somebody writing this.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
also,
that's what I'm
it's
saying.
The end of the transcription. Like, it's just the end of the conversation. Absolutely wild, man. That is so good.
Right? Okay. Good. And you hadn't read it before I just read it to you, right?
No. I was letting you do your thing.
Okay. Thank you. Yes. There you go.
Wow.
That's
also,
fucking awesome.
That has nothing to do with, like, why is that on screen here?
Nothing to do. Because, to describe it, like, the other things are, like, shots of, like, aerial shots of, like, where they are driving through Miami. So
yeah, there's, like, a map of Miami with, like, all the different highways, like, different levels. There's the aerial helicopter shots. There's, like, highway shots. There's a shot of a walkway for some reason, and then just like, but gigantic in the middle, log RPT, this phone conversation from Skynet. They're calling it Skynet, which is, you know, the AI in Terminator, but they're calling this Skynet.
And who is Marcus? And who is fucking Lance? These are characters we don't see. It's not like it's like well, we Enrique.
Know Lance. Do you think it's Lance from the first movie?
It might be. It really might be.
That after Johnny Tran dies, Lance goes to prison, gets
Lance
out.
Harambe.
It looks like Lance Barnabe.
Yeah,
Barnebe.
Yeah, Barnebe. That's what I said.
Barnebe. Wow, man, that's so good.
Okay, well, I'm glad that and this is specifically actually what I said to you, when I was like, I think there's a conversation that's like a transcript behind this thing. Can you like please give me a really crispy, like the crispiest like screenshot you can give. And even then, you have to zoom in, and it's really blurry. You heard us trying to read it, but it's fucking
I
worth it.
almost want to get like a 4K rip of this on my computer and like see if we can get even better. But like,
Yeah, because I would like the transcript. If you can provide a clearer one so we can really make this out. I don't know if it'll actually be better. If you can, we will transcribe it and put it into the document. I will do
because
it.
like the thing, so like a lot of things are when stuff like this is not meant to be in focus, so it's not gonna whatever. But it also like when a camera moves, it might get blurry. But like this is like Bilkins is like standing in front of the screen, nothing's moving. So like
Yes.
there's a chance
There is a clearer version of this.
at some point I will get a 4K version. I'm also curious if I just like pause the 4K Blu-ray, if we'll be able to see it better, like just on my TV, maybe.
I think possibly a big screen helps, and then like it's the actual lighting you have in your house. I think that this is also a great candidate that if we get a crispier version, you crop it and slap that bitch on a t-shirt. Because it's so fucking weird, right?
It's insane.
Yeah, somebody actually made that, and it like makes sense. Like, for like this is actually why like I started out and led up with the like, oh, they copied and pasted the same call. So like somebody was like doing this. They're like, make the thing. They're like just string of numbers. They don't fucking care. But they were like, and then like maybe like a transcript of like a phone conversation or something. They're like, I got some fucking ideas, and they like put their whole ass into this writing this mini script right there.
Insane. I love it. I love it so much. So, okay. So we need a trivia question. We also need a name for the minute. The trivia question can't be about this. The only trivia question
I think the name of the minute can though.
For sure. The only trivia question I came up with, which I don't want to do, I just thought it was dumb because I was like, I have nothing, is what's unique about the police helicopter pilot? She's a woman.
So I have a trivia question.
Like I was asking that like kind of like in like the doctor was a woman kind of way. It's just like I can't operate on him for he's my son. It's like, well, how can that possibly be? It's like the doctor's a woman. It's like, oh right, women can do jobs.
Yeah. Yes.
What's unique about a helicopter pilot? She's a woman. I didn't know. Okay, wow.
Thing that I was gonna use for the trivia question, which is kind of hard, and they don't really address it. They might say it, but I would be like, what district of Miami are they in? Because they're driving through the fashion district the whole minute. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how to phrase that. I don't know if you'd like that, but that's what I was thinking before I got distracted by this phone conversation.
What district in Florida or what district in Miami?
Yeah.
How do you like this as a minute title? I was just typing this. Hold on. In a quote. Hey, Marcus, what's up? This is Lance Barnebe.
I was thinking more along the lines of, because I'm going to kill my parole officer so I don't have to.
I don't. I want to say if we spoil that in the title.
Okay, wait. Okay.
Or how about we just call it?
I'm serious, dude. I can't be conversing.
What if? Okay, here's something simpler.
Escaped convicts.
What if we just call it Lance Barnebe?
This is Lance Barnebe.
This is Lance Barnebe.
Yes. From school, yes.
No, I want people to be like, because I want it to be as simple and weird as possible. Like, I think if you spoil, like, the punchline of the conversation, it's going to take away from the minute. But, like, by this point, they're like, who the fuck is Lance Barnebe?
Yeah, they're like, what? Is that a character here? And, like, and then it's in quotes, so you're like, so somebody says this. And it's like, nobody says this. And
This
it's like,
Lance Barnebe.
From school.
From school.
Do you like from? I like from school because that makes it even weirder.
This is Lance Barnebe from school. Sure.
Cool.
Okay. I don't love the trivia question, but I don't have a better one. What district of Miami do Brian and Roman race? I still don't know how to refer to this chase.
Get pursued by cops through a high pedestrian traffic area. What's another question? I can't think of, like, something about, like, there being 2 helicopters.
You're a good driver, man. Thanks, bro.
Oh, that you could do, like, what compliment does Enrique give to Brian in the minute? It'll be like, sick shirt, bro. Like, your eyes are so blue. Be like, what cool blonde hair you have.
What does Jesse say? I like his eyes.
Oh, yeah. What does he say? No, I think he says I like his hair. I think he does say I like his hair.
Talk to me, Jesse. This ain't working, brother.
He's dreamy.
He's beautiful. I like his hair.
Yeah, see? I was right. Okay, cool. Wow.
But Leon says I like his haircut.
That's fine.
What compliment does Enrique give Brian as they're pursued by police? This is also kind of an easy answer, but like, because like as they're driving, he says, "You're a good driver, man."
Yeah. And then you just be like, we can make some really bad answers, like, bro, if you were a chick, like, and just like fade off, like, just yeah. Sorry, because it feels very appropriate for like that. Oh, I really made myself laugh. I'm sorry.
This is the dumbest question, man. What compliment does Enrique give Brian as they're pursued by police? Bro, if you were a chick, ... I could just get lost in your eyes. I like your haircut, or you're a good driver, man. I wonder what it could possibly be.
They're all kind of stupid in their own way.
It's like, this has to be the last one. But is it? All right, minute 83. This is Lance Barnebe from school. So fucking stupid.
That's gonna be such a weird fucking title card. Are you just gonna? Is the picture just gonna be Bilkin staring at the screens because it should
I already pulled that. That's the,
okay.
I love
Good.
that. Hold on. This is the art that I was gonna. It's not the one that I sent you, but it's gonna be this one. I think like that's gonna be the long art.
Okay. Yeah.
And people would be like, "What the fuck?" I mean, I also don't know that people actually pay attention. Like, I think a lot of the nonsense that we love, people are just like, yeah, okay, which is fine. But like, I think this is like, what? Hold on, what?
Dude, look at this. Look at the actual full shot. Nobody was ever meant to read that conversation. Look at how fucking tiny it is.
Yeah, it's wild.
That's like 0.5 font if you were like watching this movie. Like, yeah, even I was just like, but I was like zooming in and like I like tilted. I put my head close to it. I was like, I think this is a phone conversation. So, I just want to say, this came from my dedication of pausing every millisecond of every minute and getting as close to the fucking screen as I can get. Oh.
Well, this is the premiere and dedicated Fast and Furious podcast, right? So
I know. I thought that too. I just didn't want to say it. But
minute 83. This is Lance Barnebe from school.
Also, like, from school? Like, these kids didn't go to school. He's just been in jail. Like, and then he's like, can you get me a gun immediately? I'd be like, this is a fucking rat. This is a setup. The whole everything about it. Thank you. Sorry.
It's just like, you just got out of jail. Why are you getting a gun? Oh, don't worry, man.
And like, why'd you call me? Like, I think that like your phone is tapped. Like, you're like, oh, I know another. He's like, I can't be conversing with convicted felons, and it's like, so obviously you're a felon too, or like were a felon. So like, so you call like the one guy you knew from school, and you're like, get me a gun so I can shoot my parole officer. And on top of that, the best part about it is it was fucking tapped because they have it on the wall.
Yeah. Yeah.
This was not a private conversation. Cops heard every fucking word of that.
Unbelievable. Well, another successful minute.
Yeah.
Anyway, next week we've got Hobbs and Shaw.
Okay.
Then, we have not announced this yet, but we have a bonus episode, Brian Late Night Slumber Party, High School Rodriguez, his bonus episode this lap, that he will be on Behind the Paywall, is a 3-hour-long movie called Scarface from 1983.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's right.
I don't think it's on theme. I don't remember why he picked it, other than I think he just likes the movie and wants to talk about it somewhere, and like we're kind of a grab bag for that, sort of, right?
Yeah, that works. Yeah.
Then after that, we've got Find Me Guilty, which I teased on a recent episode. That's a Vin Diesel movie, and then we'll be back here for minute 84, the Randy Moss minute, in 3 weeks. But yeah, Hobbs and Shaw, Scarface, Find Me Guilty, coming up between now and then. Pretty cool, pretty exciting. Any other thoughts, anything else to say before we stop?
No, I'm glad that you got as much enjoyment out of that as I did, and I'm glad that I got to save it, and I'm glad that we got to talk about it. That was fun.
Cool.
This was probably like one of the best, like for how much we've been like they're just fucking driving.
Like, I know that I
Jackpot
don't
this
love
minute.
this movie. I don't love this movie compared to the other ones. Like, they're all perfect movies, I know that. But, like, this minute by minute, this movie, especially the back of this movie, like when they're driving around, has been a slog.
Yep.
And I'm glad that this dumb thing was in the movie.
Yep. Same.
Almost
That's
makes
what
it
I'm
all
saying.
worth it.
It literally almost did. God, I wish we could find out. Like I wish there was a way to know who wrote that, so we could like call them and interview them, and then be like, "Oh yeah, I don't remember that at all." Like I know I wrote it, but like I don't know why I did it.
You know who that was? It was Justin Lin. What? No,
Yeah,
it wasn't.
exactly,
He was directing Better Luck Tomorrow. You know what I mean? He was not writing this.
Yeah.
But what if he did? That guy was Tyrese.
See, and if you have shit like this on the screens, how the fuck can't one of them be listening to Too Fast in the background on something else? Like nobody will even notice it for fucking 30 years, 20 years.
What if they just did like a transcription of our, like an episode of ours? Like, would we even recognize what we said? Maybe not.
Yeah, I don't know. Caller and incoming call? I don't know. Probably
knows?
not. Yeah.
Anyway, for all things Too Fast, Too Forever, go to cageclub.me, facebook.com/Too Fast, Too Forever, or at Too Fast, Too Forever on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Email us, family@cageclub.me. Check out our Patreon page, toofast2forever.com. Remember that lap perk taken. We're going to have to add a higher, more expensive one. So if you want to get on there, you missed out. You got to go even more expensive. Who knows? Or just go to the Hernan Reyes tier. You get that included. Crazy. Don't do that. But you could if you want. Check out our store over on TeePublic somewhere and come back next week as Montez returns for Hobbs and Shaw. I'm Joey Lewandowski.
I'm Joe too.
And we will
Wait, no, I'm Lance Barnebe.
Barnebe.
Lance Barnebe, sorry.
From school.
From school.
And we'll tell you all about it
When we see you again.